Hey historians! Welcome to MiaPalooza! I see you've got your t-shirt with your favorite band. Looks like you're ready to go! Today, we're going to enjoy performances by artists who will help us explore the foundations of American music. But this is just the start. In this unit, we'll explore American life and culture through World War II. These lessons will lead us to the second semester, where we'll delve into the history of the United States from World War II to the present. Our guiding questions are: how did Indigenous music influence the evolution of American music? What genres of music are uniquely American? How did Tin Pan Alley contribute to the growth of popular music? They'll help us to answer our lesson essential question: how has American music changed over time? And our unit essential question: how did American life and culture evolve through the mid-20th century? All right, let's rock and roll, historians! Let's listen to our first act. This was a sample of the Eagle Song by the Hopi tribe in Arizona. Indigenous people were the first American musicians, incorporating music into festivals and ceremonies. Maybe popular music you hear today doesn't exactly sound like this, but Indigenous influence on American music is profound. Indigenous drums, rattles, flutes, and stringed instruments were later integrated into American folk and country music. Native musicians used rhythmic chanting vocals and created songs that encouraged improvisation, which influenced blues and jazz music. As our performers wrap up, let's consider this guiding question: how did Native Americans influence American music? Looks like our next act is up. They'll help us learn about different American music genres. When you see this music note and hear this tone, jot down the genre and a couple of notes describing it. You may pause at any time.
This land is your land, and this land is my land. From the California to the New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters, this land was made for you and me.
You may recognize this song. It's called This Land Is Your Land, written by Woody Guthrie in 1940. This is an American folk song. Folk music was brought by Irish, English, and Scottish settlers, and it merged with Indigenous and African American traditions to create a uniquely American genre. Rising from the rural frontier, American folk features traditional acoustic instruments such as the guitar, banjo, and fiddle, as well as storytelling lyrics depicting the challenges of rural life. Okay, let's hear our next performer.
I've grown so used to you somehow. Well, I'm nobody's sugar daddy now, and I'm lonesome. I got the lovesick blues.
You just heard Lovesick Blues by Hank Williams. This is an example of country music. Influenced by folk, country features relatable lyrics with themes like love and heartbreak, often sung with a distinctive twang. Today, it features polished instrumentation and production, while folk music remains traditional. That was Bessie Smith, singing in the film St. Louis Blues, and it is a great example of blues music. The blues originated in the Mississippi Delta in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Blues music is deeply rooted in the African American experience. It's derived from spirituals and field hollers. Spirituals blend African folk and Christian hymns for hopeful, freedom-oriented religious songs. Field hollers were rhythmic tunes sung by enslaved people, meant to help them get through long days of grueling labor. Blues builds on these traditions with soulful melodies, rhythmic chords, improvisation, and lyrical themes of hardship, love, loss, and resilience. That's Black Bottom Stomp by Jelly Roll Morton, an example of jazz music. Jazz originated in late 19th and early 20th century New Orleans. Rooted in African music traditions, it blends European brass instruments and rhythms from Native American, Louisiana Creole, and Caribbean music. Jazz evolved into the swing and big band era of the 1930s and 1940s. That was Take the A Train, popularized by Duke Ellington. Band leaders like Ellington and Count Basie led bands of up to 25 musicians. Later, Miles Davis and John Coltrane were known for their virtuosic performances. Jazz became a prominent form of American expression as songs showcased improvised solos by each band member. While we'll explore post-World War II pop culture further in future lessons, it's crucial to note the profound influence of blues and jazz on the United States and the world. In the late 1940s, blues gave rise to rhythm and blues, or R&B, infusing danceable rhythms into blues. And then in the 1950s, a global musical revolution emerged: rock and roll. Early American rock stars like Chuck Berry and Elvis Presley fused rhythmic blues vocals and danceable beats and catchy guitar riffs from R&B to shape the quintessential American genre. Rock and roll inspired a worldwide music revolution, leading to the rise of English rockers such as the Beatles and the Rolling Stones, and Canada's Neil Young. Indigenous influences can also be heard in the current song, Gimme Shelter by the Rolling Stones. It features the gyro, an indigenous instrument. Fast forward to 1973. At a birthday party in the Bronx, Jamaican-American DJ Kool Herc merged jazz and R&B with the prominent bass and percussion of funk music, a derivative of R&B. And the result? Hip-hop.
Yo, Fife, you remember that routine? That way used to make spiffy like Mr. Clean? A tidbit.
Check the Rhyme by a tribe called Quest, for example, sets rhythmic, repetitive vocals over jazz, rock, and funk-influenced beats. Today, hip-hop is the most popular genre in the United States. Wow, what a journey! What makes the musical lineage of blues and jazz even more remarkable is the fact that they were primarily developed by African American musicians and influenced by the musical traditions of their enslaved ancestors. So the group that was initially denied a voice ended up having the most significant impact on music in the United States and possibly the world. Okay, music historians, pause here to complete your graphic organizer and the reflection question. Which of the genres do you feel is the most American?
Oh my honey, better hurry and let me and
Tin Pan Alley was a music publishing district of the late 19th and early 20th centuries in Manhattan, New York City. It profoundly impacted what would become American popular music. Let's hear an example of a Tin Pan Alley tune. Did you recognize it? It's Over the Rainbow, as performed by Judy Garland from The Wizard of Oz. Now let's examine some features of Tin Pan Alley. In your PDF, jot down each bullet point. You'll use these to help answer your guiding questions at the end of the section. Tin Pan Alley's music reflected America's social and cultural values. For example, Over the Rainbow expresses feelings of hope, freedom, and nostalgia. Other songs focus on love, patriotism, and everyday life. It also reflected the cultural integration of society, as writers blended genres such as jazz, classical, and blues. Rather than featuring complex orchestration and showcasing improvisation, its songs were simple, catchy, and followed the verse-chorus-verse structure of today's pop songs. Due to their simplicity, songs could also be played by amateur musicians. Sheet music of the songs were sold far and wide to those who wanted to recreate them. As technologies such as the phonograph and radio became more accessible, Tin Pan Alley pioneered the recording industry, selling records to consumers across the country. And popular songs were marketed in new ways. For example, composers collaborated with musical theater productions and films such as The Wizard of Oz. It also ushered in the era of the pop star. Early on, songwriters were widely admired, although the songs were distributed and performed by others. However, as the Roaring '20s approached, the performers themselves began to take center stage.
Swanee, how I love you, my dear old Swanee. I'd give the world.
Swanee, written by George Gershwin, gained fame when Al Jolson performed it in 1919. Jolson's energetic performances popularized the song and secured its lasting legacy. The era of the pop star began, blazing the trail for Frank Sinatra, Whitney Houston, and Taylor Swift. Our final guiding question is, how did Tin Pan Alley contribute to the growth of popular music? The folk rock duo Simon and Garfunkel once sang, "I've gone to look for America." There are few better places to look for America than in its music. We'll get a chance to learn more about music's impact on the United States in future units. But until then, Mia, how did you enjoy MiaPalooza? Keep making music and keep making history.
Hey!